Welcome everyone to the live Ask Me Anything session with Anita, who most of you know is like a program all-star and now is like becoming a Salesforce celebrity, whether she likes it or not, it's happening. We're just going to open this up to you guys and Anita and let her answer the questions that you guys have about her journey, how she has been able to be so successful in a very short amount of time. And really, she makes my Salesforce story look like child's play compared to how fast she is diving through this process. So thank you for this, Anita. Thank you for joining, and thanks everybody for joining in.
Yeah, hey everybody, happy to be here. If you don't already message me, I usually answer questions anyways right away.
I know quite a bit about you, but there's so much to every story, and I think getting to know each other is such a big piece of it. So I guess first, do you mind giving everybody a quick rundown of like your story sort of through the program? I know you were an early adopter of the program, and just a quick rundown of you joined, you did your thing, you landed your job, and sort of what you're up to now, having been one of our first program alumni.
Yeah, sure. I joined the program back in October of last year, 2020. And binge learned the admin trailmix for a month and passed my exam on the first try in November. So about exactly 30 days later. And then I kind of took a little break just because the holidays were coming up. So I kind of slacked off around, Thanksgiving, Christmas and all that. But right after the holidays, I really started doing a lot more and actually like trying to apply for jobs. I mean, I was doing LinkedIn here and there. I was posting every day. I wrote an article or two, but it wasn't until January, I think maybe when budgets started opening up to hire new people, where I started getting slammed with different recruiters reaching out to me. I had like 2 job offers that I didn't apply for. One was with a consultancy where I freelanced for a bit. The owner reached out to me. I interviewed with him and the client. They actually didn't want me because I wasn't experienced enough. But I did the 2-week trial Bradley suggested in the TalentStacker modules, and the owner was really impressed with that. He was like, "All right, I have kind of a side project I can give you as like a trial to see how you do." He was really impressed, so he hired me after that. And then fast forward, that was only freelance, so I needed health insurance. Like I was unemployed for a year, so it was kind of rough. Fast forward, I saw Chris Hopper. He's a big recruiter in Salesforce. If you don't know, you should be following him on LinkedIn. Post about the Salesforce Career Fair. And under that, one of the comments was, my now boss had posted, "Hey, I wish like I knew about this because we're actually hiring." I clicked on the link for the positions he was hiring. I was like, "Oh, okay. This is like 5 years minimum experience. I'm not going to qualify." But I liked his comment with intention of like bringing it up on the feed so everyone else like could see it, so someone else could have a chance. Just because of that, like he looked at my LinkedIn profile, was really impressed, set up an interview the next day. Following day, had an interview with his number 2 person, and then that afternoon interview with their clients, and then that evening I got the job. I started the following week, and I've heard this story a lot. It happens really fast once it gets started.
Yeah, I think that's it's almost a scary thing. One of the biggest pieces of feedback I get from program members who like take it seriously is like, they see the testimonials and it's like 100 days, we have people who land their jobs in like 100 days or less sometimes. And it's exciting to think about. And then they join the program and they're like, when they see it happening, it's like, oh my gosh, this is so much. Like I have to interview, I'm scared. There's recruiters reaching out. There's like, now what am I supposed to do? Because I feel like an imposter. And obviously you came with something that, either that didn't bother you or you didn't show it, which sort of feeds in to one of the questions we have here, which doesn't exactly apply, but I'll bring it up.
So I must say it's a lot easier when someone reaches out to you. There's less pressure. And since my boss had reached out to me, I'm all about transparency. So I was transparent about everything the whole time. I mean, like I wrote articles that I didn't come from a tech background. I came from hospitality. And, I kind of had that connection with the owner because he had worked in a hotel prior. So he kind of knew it. But like, because he had worked in hospitality, he knows like I have a really good work ethic, just because they work hospitality workers to the bone. If you've never worked any hospitality job ever. So he knew how fresh I was and how much a noob I was, but he was very impressed that I was able to take and pass the exam on the first try and able to like make that career pivot so fast. So, I mean, I guess that's why I don't really have imposter syndrome. I only had it a little bit with the clients, but I mean, the person who had my position before had 15 years of his Salesforce experience. I can't fake that. So I'm not going to even try. Like it's obvious to them I'm new, but I'm very good at responding to any like messages, pings, or emails quickly and getting them the solutions or the answers in a timely fashion. So they're happy with that. It's also likability factor, just be a nice person, and easy to work with. That's for the most part, that's what's made me successful. And how am I chill all the time? I don't know. I've had RBF most of my life, so I am like panicky on the inside. It just doesn't show sometimes. What advice would you give your younger self besides learn Salesforce? I should have maxed out my IRA when like I started it. I started one when I was 18. I put like a couple thousand in it and then I forgot about it and like didn't add money this whole time. So yeah, my younger self, oh my God, max out my IRA. I regret that so much. What advice would you have for individuals who are new to the program? Yeah. Focus on doing the correct trailmix, the admin, prepare for your Salesforce admin credential one. You should only be focusing on that and your LinkedIn. Otherwise, like you're going to get very distracted very fast and it's going to take you a while to pass the exam. The reason I joined the program is because I was kind of all over the place, but like just do that trailmix. Don't even get like carried away with other modules, just favorite them, click the little heart and just save it for later. How were you able to pass the exam in 1 month? Were you employed full time? Yeah. So I was furloughed from a hotel back in March and then finally laid off in October. So I was not working. I don't have kids. I really didn't have any distractions. So that full month of October, I did Salesforce like it was my full-time job. I mean, minimum like 8 hours a day, going through all the modules, super badges, everything. And that combined with, I'm also like, I've always been a good test taker and I know how to analyze questions and kind of figure out what they want you to answer. Those two really help, but just like having a long period of focus time and no distractions was the major thing. What LinkedIn strategy techniques do you feel made a difference for you? Pretty much everything you suggested. I think what I picked up from Jordan Nelson, another Salesforce LinkedIn celeb. If you don't follow him, you should. He's very genuine and authentic, as well as Bradley. And I feel like that helped. It helped me create good posts. Like my posts weren't too salesy or anything. They were just me and thinking. I was like, oh, whenever I found something helpful, I was like, this is probably helpful to other people in the same shoes. So I would share that. I think that made a big difference, as well as, Bradley going through my LinkedIn and fixing everything. I wish I took notes, not like actual notes, but I wish I copied and pasted everything from all the modules as I was going through into my OneNote. That way I could easily control find and search anything I need to know. I mean, I know it's always in Trailhead, but sometimes it just takes a while to find the actual module I was going through. Aside from that, maybe experimenting, creating my own org and actually implementing the stuff. Like some of you have started the internal volunteer project. You know what I'm talking about. Like once you start actually doing that, that's when things really clicked. I think I should have done one on my own earlier, and I think it would have helped a lot more. After going through the admin trail mix, what was your study approach for the exam? What things would you have done differently, if any? Okay, so after the trail mix, I did the certification days. I did a study group. I didn't go through the whole 10 weeks. I was very impatient. I finished the trail mix, and I think I took the exam maybe a week after. I tried to like binge take the Focus on Force practice exams, which I don't recommend because they are very draining. I was trying to do 2 a day, and like I found myself rushing through them. I did very poorly on those. I started as like a 65% in the first one, and then just kept getting lower. By the time I got to the 6 practices exam, I was getting like a 50. But then I took the web assessor practice exam. It's the $20 exam. And that gave me a lot of confidence because I was able to I think I got like 85 when I did it. So after taking that, I was like, okay, I'm ready for the exam. And that's pretty much all I did. I did do some Trailhead Live videos too by Caitlin Wen. How does it feel to be certified after such a challenge? Oh, it's like the best feeling in the world. There's like, I don't know, this giddy feeling after you pass the exam. It feels so good. It's just like this massive weight lifted off. I think that was like the hardest part, passing the exam. And it feels amazing. And it feels especially amazing if you had taken it multiple times. When you finally pass, so good. What are your go-to communities for asking questions or giving advice to others in Salesforce space? Okay, for asking questions, it was Salesforce for Everyone, but which is still great community. But the Salesforce Ohana Slack is amazing because you get there are so many members on there, and you get instant answers by real people who are MVPs and just experts in the field. I don't know if they're just on there all day just answering away, but it's been super helpful. And then giving advice to others, I pop in to some Salesforce Saturdays. And sometimes when there's other freshers, I'll give my story and advice too, just because I just did it. And it's a good place to get advice. And if you have a complex business case, a lot of the Salesforce Saturdays, you can join and kind of present it. I mean, don't tell your client name, but people will help. So my first day, I started the week of MLK. So I technically started that Tuesday, although that Monday when I was off the clock, it was a 3-hour session with my boss, onboarding me of what they've done on a project so far, because it's been a 2-year project, and right now they're just improving it and adding to it. The first day, meetings, meet and greets. You always want to get to know everyone, so it's nice to do one-on-ones with everyone, especially clients, just so they can get to know you and how they work. Just getting set up, emails, training. Even though I don't work at the client, I still have to they still onboard me, so I still have to do their my learning sites and all the other stuff. Do you work with any specific agile methodology? Yeah. So Scrum. We definitely do Scrum, which I didn't really understand agile or know like Scrum and those terms like Scrum, Sprint, Poker, user stories. I didn't know any of that stuff until I started my job, which was fun to learn really fast. I highly recommend you look those up if you're doing a business analyst role. But yeah, we have 2 week sprints for our minor releases, and then major releases we have more time. I kind of don't really follow the sprint. We just make sure we get everything done in time. But my client, it's healthcare, so there's a lot of red tape. So we actually have 3 sandboxes that like we have to test it out 3 times, any feature updates we're doing, and then it goes into production. I have to like any change I make, like fixing a typo, I have to submit a ticket. Any like bigger changes, I have to go and present it in front of like a group of architects to make sure it doesn't mess with anything else. So that stuff kind of slows it down a bit, but yeah, that's it. Not coming from a tech background, how difficult was it to learn all of these systems today training? I didn't come from a tech background, but for hospitality, we have like 5 different systems. So I'm used to just learning new systems and jumping into it. Did they train me? No, I kind of just Google stuff. So I used Jira, like I just jump in and try to figure it out. If it's a little like more technical, like their own like ticket submission system, I just ask for a brief rundown and take notes. But most part, I'll Google like how to write a user story or how to use Jira or top 10 tips. After passing, there are many resources to continue to look for a job. One of the resources I haven't used is Jordan Nelson's LinkedIn post. Can you tell me how best to use them as a resource? Just, read it, take his advice, because it's good advice. And also I'll go on his profile and I'll see like his activity, and I will start following the people he comments and likes a lot, because usually they're big LinkedIn influencers that not necessarily are Salesforce related, but they also give good tips and stuff. And also I haven't done it in a while, but in the beginning I would tag him. So anyone you tag, like when you post a comment on LinkedIn, all their like people see, all their followers see your post too. So if you can tag, don't tag random people, but if you've interacted with him a lot, you can tag him and you'll get like a bigger reach. No, I have not washed the hoodie yet. Favorite part of going through the program? That's a good one. I think, as you guys can tell, I'm probably like really addicted to the Facebook group, because I respond to maybe 80-90% of the posts. I think that community is my favorite part. Was it hard to get a volunteer part-time job, and where did you find it? So initially I did actually land a volunteer job on my own. I had posted it in the Salesforce for Everyone Facebook group that I got my certification. I was open to volunteer for anyone. And the owner of this company, the startup, reached out to me from that. It was so early in the startup that I didn't really do anything. We kind of like gathered requirements, but that's about it. And like by the time that and it was like end of December, so I'm like, okay, I need to do something else. So then I ended up doing the internal TalentStacker project. Oh, will you go to Dreamforce? Oh yeah, for sure. I'm dying to go to Dreamforce. So many people have told me about it. It sounds amazing. If you are, will you help organize social? Yeah, of course. I'd love to. I want to meet everyone. It'd be awesome if we could all meet up. What should we focus on for passing the admin exam? Just make sure you complete that trailmix. because that is the bulk of it. And don't skip on the super badges. I know they take so much time and they're hard, but like that's where you really like realize that you don't know as much as you should know. And then when you're poking around, that helps out a lot. And also the certification days, that really connected everything for me.